From the land of lakes, this is 10,000 Takes, brought to you by Minnesota Score Radio. Wally and Eric back for yet another week, and we are ecstatic you've tuned us in. Let's see, it's June.
It is.
And it's rare in June that we would open a show up talking about college hoops, but that's where we're at this week because the news broke a few days ago. We're going to have a legitimate Twin Cities rivalry on the hardwood. D1 basketball. St. Thomas from St. Paul, the U of M from Minneapolis. They're separated by a river. Let the acrimony begin. This is good stuff.
Yeah, and they haven't played in, about 90 years officially. So it's a good setup. This is now men's basketball. They're going to play. The women are going to play as well. And I think it's good for both, honestly. Look, the Gopher men's basketball team isn't exactly filling up the barn these days. No. I think it's safe to say that anything you can do to get people into that building is a good thing. And this is a good thing. And there's a fair amount of Twin Cities talent on both teams, both St. Thomas. I know Johnny Tower does a nice job of bringing guys in, and Nico is, taking aim at getting some Minnesota kids. So I think it's all good. I did see a quote from Nico, though, that kind of bothers me a little bit. He said, well, this isn't something we're going to do every year.
What was he told to do this?
Yeah, well, that could be, or vice versa. Maybe he wanted it, and somebody up above said, no, we don't want to do this every year. I don't think – I think it's nothing but good to do this. What? Bucky plays Marquette every year, don't they?
Why run from your shadow?
Yeah.
I mean – play St. Thomas. You're more than likely going to win if you're the U of M, and there's going to come a season when you won't, and you'll get some arrows and you'll get some barbs.
Might be this year.
Yeah, maybe. But, let the thing marinate. Let it become an organic rivalry. It's such a natural. You brought up Marquette and UW. That's Madison and Milwaukee. As a kid growing up, now they were in the same conference. They had to play. But USC, UCLA, same city, Los Angeles. That was always a lot of fun, whether it's basketball, baseball, or football, when they would meet. And they didn't dare think about not playing. So I think this is good. It's long overdue. And let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, it's good that both the men and the women are doing it. Obviously, St. Thomas moved to Division I a couple of years ago. They've been kind of sowing their oats, so to speak, and trying to, get into these tournaments. I think the University of St. Thomas men's basketball team had a legitimate shot at being a tournament team last year. They just fell short. And so that could mean that they're going to be very competitive with your Gophers. But on the women's side, Gopher women were awfully good this past season. Don Plitzowite's got several players coming back. They were a Sweet 16 team. As you pointed out on the radio earlier this week when we talked about this, they lost to the eventual national champions. They lost to UCLA. There was no shame in that. So I'd say yes, this is good for both the men and the women. Both should win, but, it's not always going to work out that way.
Yeah, and the Gophers need both of those programs to be successful. As you said, the women they've done their share, and they got to keep improving, though. They can't just say, okay, we've reached the finish line. They're far from it. The U of M men, it's been bleak. I mean, Nico's first year was not that great. And obviously Ben Johnson had some struggles, and before that, Richard Pitino. So they need to move up the elevator in that bloated Big Ten. 18 teams. At least get in the top 8. Is that too much to ask?
Well, I don't know.
It might be, but think about it. You're just saying be in the top 8. Well, back when there was just 10 Big Ten teams, that would have been the bottom.
Well, and right now they're probably, somewhere between 13 and 18, I would say, right? I mean, I don't think that they're any better than that, but, they got to prove it on the court, and this is a good step number 1. Beat the University of St. Thomas, beat the Tommies, fill up the barn, what the heck.
Yeah, probably not happening in football anytime soon.
Oh, no, PJ doesn't want – well, I don't think St. Thomas wants to play PJ. No. That'd be a bad
I would say, how about North Dakota State again? Let's rekindle that rivalry.
Yes, let's have the North Dakota State
that would be
folks
fun.
Come down and play football.
Bison Stampede down I-94. All right, stick around. Much more coming up. 10K Takes your hoops ticket.
This is a great idea. You were right.
Yes, you heard correctly, Denise.
The three most beautiful words in the English language. Print them out. Hang them on your fridge. Get one of those planes that spells out words in the sky. Let everyone see. You were right. This is your moment. Savor every second.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Let your adventure begin in Lakeville, Minnesota. We have over 90 places to grab a bite to eat, and we're close to the Mall of America, Valley Fair, and the Minnesota Zoo, plus hotel packages and great rates. Visit Lakeville. We're serious about fun all year round.
Welcome back. 10,000 takes rolling along, and so is the World Cup. It has arrived in North America, the United States in particular. And we're going to talk some soccer on today's show. And joining us now, the Chief Development Officer from Minnesota United, that's Manny Lagos. And Manny, I suspect, and I see that Minnesota United is putting on a little celebration in downtown Minneapolis, kind of watch parties along with some celebrities and so on. Is there any more reason to get fired up about soccer than this, to have the World Cup here in the United States? Obviously not in Minneapolis, but in the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, that's a mouth for me, guys. I'm so excited. So much to talk about. First of all, I'm so excited. You can see I just wore one of my former national team shirts. I saw the U.S. in their send-off game against Germany, sold out Soldier Field. And what was amazing is you typically that'd be like maybe 50-50 Germans and U.S. crowd. It was 10 times as many U.S. fans than German fans. I think as this World Cup starts, people are going to get excited about the first time since 1994 the World Cup is in the U.S. And really, the history is amazing because the league that we work in, Minnesota United, the growth, this beautiful Allianz Field, 30 teams now, brand new stadiums, and just franchise values going through the roof, really started when we got that bid for 94 World Cup. Part of that bid, people don't realize, was MLS, Major League Soccer, starting in 1996. So the last time we had the World Cup here, just such a different landscape for soccer, for pro soccer, for all across the country. And I just think this is going to be more of a celebration, and it's going to be awesome. I mean, I really think we have a competitive team on the field. I don't think we have a world-class team that maybe has a chance to win it, but I think we have a competitive team that can make a nice run in the tournament. And I think we have a fan base that's going to go nuts here in this country.
And there's 11 spots on the U.S. map where these matches will be played. Not the Twin Cities. Closest would be Kansas City to the south. But still, it's spread out all over the nation. And then you have Canada and Mexico being some host cities as well. What kind of a bounce do you think, Manny, Major League Soccer, Minnesota United, and all the other teams that you mentioned, 30 total, will get when the World Cup leaves town and leaves a big footprint and a big mark?
Well, I mean, we're already in like this amazing growth curve where, you know, the ratings for the games, particularly with Messi and Apple TV, has been awesome, especially this year. The ratings have been through the roof. So I think we're in a different bounce than we were where we're just trying to become relevant. Soccer now is massively relevant in this country. It is just like a major sports country. Soccer is a major player in the global market. I think MLS is like a top 10 league in the world. We are not going to just jump in the top five. That is like astronomical budgets and player budgets that is going to take decades to get to, but we will have an awesome bounce and so many wells. There's a business level, but even producing global superstars, we still don't quite do that yet. We have this great national team. I think Christian Pulisic is an amazing player. Not quite, he's a superstar, but he's maybe not quite one of the top 10 players in the world. And I do think there'll be a little kid somewhere in the U.S. watching this World Cup who will say, I want to become the best player in the world in soccer. And I think it'll happen. So I think there'll be a long play in some of the stuff, and then there'll be some big bounces right away just because you're going to get more mainstream fans falling in love with the diversity of this sport. All these countries that really the number one sport is soccer, and that's their pride. And they bring that to the U.S. and they bring the excitement to the U.S. So it's going to be an awesome celebration. You mentioned, you know, I was just in Chicago. They don't have the World Cup games as well. It was a tough loss for the Twin Cities and for Chicago, but the reality is FIFA kind of put some tough restrictions on how you get and bid for the tournament. and I just don't think we were quite ready to bid on it. And I do think US Bank would have been a great host stadium, but it's still super cool because Minnesota United, we were putting in some amazing soccer celebrations. You can go online, you can look it up. It's free, huge viewing area right in PV Plaza, right next to Brits. Brits will have some huge, awesome viewing areas in their bar. And then right out there in Nicolette, we're gonna have some awesome parties. Like it's already been just people are grabbing and going. You can just go. You don't have to get the tickets. Just go, but it'll be crowded. Like I said, Friday night when we open against Paraguay, it'll be packed. But I recommend you go there. You'll feel the energy of the World Cup.
All right. Let me feel the energy of Team USA. You said
Yes.
that they're going to be competitive. Does that mean they get out of pool play? What does it mean, do you think?
Yes, it would be a massive failure if we don't get out of pool play. Our pool has Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey, all really good teams, all ranked lower than us in the FIFA rankings, meaning that we will be favored to win. Now we're gonna have to probably win at least one game in time now to get out of pool play, which I really feel this group we have. We've got a lot of stars playing in Europe right now that are doing really well. I mentioned Christian Pulisic. We got this other great defender, Chris Richards, that plays for Crystal Palace in the Premier League. He's a great defender. I really like our forward line of Balogun. If he plays well in France, Ricardo Pepe's playing in Holland and doing really well. We just have a really balanced, solid group of players, and we have some great wingbacks. Dest on the right is one of the top players in Holland. Robinson on the left was best 11 in the Premier League last year. So we're not a pushover again. But to get to the best teams in the world right now, that would be France, that would be Brazil, that would be Spain, that would be England. We're still not quite there. We can step on the field and maybe have the quality they have.
Manny, you told us before the interview you're going to see at least one match in Seattle. That would be the home of the Seahawks, and then go up north to Vancouver, where they have that retractable roof, BC Place. The Seahawks play on field turf when it's NFL. But as you know, FIFA mandates grass, natural grass, indoors or out. Tell us how that works, and tell me why the NFL can't do that for all of its venues, including the one in Minneapolis.
Here we go.
That's a hot topic on the football side, but I mean I'm sure it's expensive to do it and to put the grass in, and then you also have a lot of concerts going in that Seattle Lumen Field. You got a lot of their events that they might not want grass all the time, and I do think that's a battle that's coming with the NFL players. Though it seems to me like they're getting hungry and hungry to have all grass surfaces because the players, all athletes, love playing grass over turf. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, I think even in football. So, but for the World Cup, yeah, that's a stipulation. These are world class superstars. It was funny. My son and I were joking. The front line of Germany that we played against on Saturday, we lost 2-1, but really respectable game for us. Was they're valued at over $500 million. Their four players that started that game. So we are getting global superstars in this country, and there's no way that they would agree to play on turf.
All right. You've got 3 players playing in the World Cup from Minnesota United. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, we do.
So what are your other 15 guys doing now? Are they working out? Are they in town? Have they gone home? What's going on with the rest of your roster?
It's a great question because we always are thinking about how we can be competitive. We had a really good start to the season. We finished a little slower, but we're still top 4 or 5-ish in the West and looking really good to make a run this year to get into the playoffs and hopefully make a run for the championship. And it's crazy to have 7 weeks off. A soccer player's body can't take 7 full weeks off. They are going to get 3 weeks off, which they're currently in. And I hope they're on the beach somewhere around the world enjoying themselves because it's rare that you get this kind of time off during the season, that every week you're pushing your body and your mental side to just be top 100%. They will come back on the 17th of June, and essentially they'll be in a training camp, almost like a mini preseason. Usually our preseasons are about 6 to 7 weeks. This will be a 4-week mini camp that we'll have from June 17th. We start up in Sporting KC again on July 22nd. So it'll be fun. I mean, I'm really excited for the guys because they'll be training in and around the World Cup games. We have a lot of guys from a lot of places around the world, so they'll be cheering for their teams from where they come from. And again, but from a fitness standpoint, they can't take the whole 7 weeks off.
Manny, what would it take for Major League Soccer to move up a notch and be like the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, the big four as we call them? Right now, I would put Minnesota United right there with the Lynx, and it's not a shot. I'm just saying they're not quite there as far as the moving the meter thing. How do you get it to that next level?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of two avenues. One is, we are certainly going to continue to capitalize on the growth of all these leagues, all of our teams, except for the teams that play in NFL stadiums, which is about 5 or 6 that now use that as their home because they're getting 30 to 40,000 people a game. So those are appropriate stadiums for a lot of teams in our league. But the teams that have the soccer specific stadiums are the other 25, and they control their revenue, they control their business model, and that continues to grow. So one thing is just we continue to buy players all over the world. We're in the market for our players all the time, and that's a great model where right now the best players in the world really play in the Premier League and the top 3 or 4 other leagues in Europe, and they play in this European league called the Champions League. We can't quite buy those players yet. Like I said, that's probably a 10 to 15 year model where we have to get the kind of revenue or business model to actually buy the best players that the NBA and the NFL already have. But we're on that trajectory. Like right away, you blink, and most leagues around the world are very envious of MLS because we just keep growing and growing, and we keep passing up leagues. The other way, which I think is even cooler though, that we can get there is I mentioned the fishbowl of value is in players. We can do that by developing the best players here in the US. And we can start to do that's why I said I'm so excited about this World Cup. Every team in MLS has millions and millions of dollars going to our development model. We have a second team, we have a U18 team, we have a U16 team, we have a U15 team. So I do see another way to get there is by over the next 10 to 15 years, instead of buying the best talent, we develop it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that model works, and hopefully you have something to cheer about. Enjoy the World Cup. Thanks so much for your insight, Manny, and we will talk to you again when Team USA has advanced out of the pool play.
Love it. Thank you, guys. Cheers. Enjoy it.
All right. He is Manny Lagos with Minnesota United right here on 10,000 Takes. Stay with us. Back with more after this timeout.
Get in the game at St. Croix Casinos in Turtle Lake, Danbury, and Hertel, Wisconsin, your local destination for sports betting. Check out our sportsbook at St. Croix Casinos. From football and soccer to hockey and UFC, you can join the non-stop action. You'll find plenty of options to bet on with our cutting-edge Play Sports kiosks, whether placing live or prop wagers before tuning into the game. That's the book at Turtle Lake, the Red Zone at Danbury, and our sports betting kiosk at Hertel. Find your fortune at St. Croix Casinos.
In Lakeville, Minnesota, dozens of meeting venues are ready to host your next corporate event, banquet, and holiday party. Lakeville has unique conference facilities, a variety of hotels, an abundance of team-building options, and dining that are sure to impress. For suggestions that suit your needs, please call the Lakeville Convention and Visitors Bureau at 952-469-2020 or go to visitlakeville.org. Lakeville, we mean business.
Life moves pretty fast, but not at Freddy's. When that first bite hits, you can't help but slow down. The secret to quality time is just quality and time. That's Freddy's.
Mom, what's wrong with them? That's called quality time. Don't stare.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision. It's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
We are 10,000 Takes, and we are two of the few people who go to a lot of Twins games these days. I know I was there a week ago, this past Friday, and then you showed up over the weekend as well. Man, they're just not putting people in the seats, and obviously, you got to win baseball games, and they're not doing much of that. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Kansas City Royals, who at the time were in last place, and now Detroit this week, St. Louis coming in this week. They better get people in the stands for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, you're in the heyday of drawing people to a ballpark in the upper Midwest. School is out. Memorial Day has come and gone, and then Labor Day is the tail end of summer. So you've got your warm weather. You've got no worries about kids staying up late and not being able to go to class the next day. This is when they should be packing the fans in. And that Royals series was very disappointing. Yeah. I was at a couple games, and, they probably announced 17 to 18,000, but there's about 10 or 11K in the venue. Yeah. And so the St. Louis Cardinals come in this weekend. They have a fan base that travels very well. They have a huge footprint in mid-America. So I expect to get a bounce from the Cardinals. The Twins should. But will the Twins fans show up? And then the LA Dodgers are here 22, 23, and 24 of June. Unfortunately, that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But I would think they'll get a bounce, too, because Dodger fans also like to travel.
That's what I hear. All right.
Can't wait.
Yes. All right. One team that does not have trouble drawing, that wears Minnesota proudly, are the Lynx. And they are, at the time of this recording, at least they have the best record in the WNBA. And Cheryl Reeves got them going again. And there's no reason to believe that this team isn't going to compete for a championship this year.
Yeah, you got to give Cheryl Reeve a ton of credit. I mean, it's a machine. The players come in, she and her assistants coach them up, and they keep winning. Olivia Miles has been outstanding, the rookie out of LSU. I think she's got to be the slam dunk rookie of the year at this point in time. Nafisa Collier, we don't know when she's coming back.
Boy,
but they
they'll
also
be
have
loaded when she comes
Natasha
back.
Howard. How about Nia Coffey from Hopkins High School? In fact, on Tuesday night, you had Nia and Paige Becker's a Royal reunion, right? The Hopkins Royals had to be proud. You got Paige on Dallas, Nia on Minnesota. That just doesn't happen a lot. 2 high school players in the WNBA from the same school.
And 2 of the top players in the league.
Yeah.
Without question. Yep. Okay. I want to bounce back to, we were just talking to Manny Lagos, and we were talking to him about, having a major event like the World Cup here in the Twin Cities. Well, it didn't happen. They lost out. Chicago lost out as well. We weren't the only city to lose out, Twin Cities metro area. What's the next big event that will come here? Maybe the Women's World Cup in 2030, I think that is, 4 years from now? I mean, I'm not so sure that the Twin Cities is going to get, we're certainly not going to get another Super Bowl.
No.
What are you going to get next? Oh, wait a minute. I know. The draft.
Yeah. And the draft is a big deal. We know that.
I know, but it's not a game.
No, it's not a game. It's an event. It's a thing. So I loosely include the draft, but I think the NFL is rewarding markets who aren't going to get Super Bowls with the draft. That's actually smart by the NFL. They're usually not a charity-driven league, but they are in this case. Because Cincinnati wants it now. Washington, D.C. is going to get it. Although D.C. is getting a new dome, so they'll probably get a Super Bowl.
Wait a minute. D.C. has got the United Bowl this weekend.
Yes.
The United Football League's championship game.
The presses.
Awarded to Washington, D.C.
How about that? Playing it at a high school venue, right? Not at FedEx Field or whatever.
No, I think
Landover.
They're playing in some soccer.
I think the best shot, though, of a major event here.
Yes.
Oh, Final Four. But that's nowhere on the horizon.
No. I think that they have one of the regionals coming up or a sub-regional or whatever it is. Well, now they've added so many teams now to the NCAA men's basketball tournament and the women's basketball. They're up to 76 now. They added another 8 teams. So, lo and behold, they got to find another place to play them.
I'll give a piece of advice to the folks who do run the House of Noise, US Bank Stadium. Make a play now for the Big Ten championship game in football, which is usually Indianapolis. I don't know why they have the market on that. Do what you got to do to get it, because once Chicago or Hammond, Indiana gets that new Bear Dome, Bear Den, they're going to get a lot of those. And that's not going to help Minneapolis, because they'll be viewed as the Midwest go-to city for cold spots to play games indoors.
You know what's going to happen? We're going to get it here in the Twin Cities, and they're going to cancel the Big Ten football championship. That's coming soon because of the way the playoffs are set up. All right, we've got more to come. Yes, takes of the day. Coming up next, our Minnesota Scores 10,000 takes.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Get in the game at St. Croix Casinos in Turtle Lake, Danbury, and Hertel, Wisconsin, your local destination for sports betting. Check out our sportsbook at St. Croix Casinos. From football and soccer to hockey and UFC, you can join the non-stop action. You'll find plenty of options to bet on with our cutting-edge Play Sports kiosks, whether placing live or prop wagers before tuning into the game. That's the book at Turtle Lake, the Red Zone at Danbury, and our sports betting kiosk at Hertel. Find your fortune at St. Croix Casinos.
Hey, get your sports fix by tuning in to 10K Takes. We cover all the Minnesota teams.
Vikings, Twins, Wild, Gophers, you name it. Fox 9 Plus and the Fox Local app.
In Lakeville, Minnesota, dozens of meeting venues are ready to host your next corporate event, banquet, and holiday party. Lakeville has unique conference facilities, a variety of hotels, an abundance of team-building options, and dining that are sure to impress. For suggestions that suit your needs, please call the Lakeville Convention and Visitors Bureau at 952-469-2020 or go to visitlakeville.org. Lakeville, we mean business.
10K Takes on television as we wrap up yet another episode. That means takes of the day, and the folks in the Twin Ports, the Twin Cities, Med City, they're all eagerly waiting to see what your mood is. Donnie Downer, Happy Camper, Sarcastic Sam, what is it?
Well, I figured I'd turn this take of the day into a where are they now? How about Max Kepler, former Twin, played with Minnesota from 2015 to 2024. Had a huge season in 2019, the Bomba Squad year, where he hit 36 dingers, drove in 90 runs. Big year for Max. Of course, kind of went downhill after that, only hit 9 home runs in his final year, 2024. So he jettisoned over to the Philadelphia Phillies, signed a 1-year, $10 million contract with the Phils. Didn't exactly light it up. He did hit 18 home runs, but he only hit 216. And then there was this. At the end of the season into January, he was knocked down by a PED suspension. Yes, 80 games. Max Kepler out for performance-enhancing drugs. So where is he now? Well, he's with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He signs a 1-year deal. He is eligible to start playing on June 25th. So Max Kepler back in baseball later on this month. And could the Twins use him? Maybe. If he can hit those 18 home runs, I'd say get him on board.
Yeah. I always liked his glove in right field.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Mood meter says Sarcastic Sam. By the way, Twins and Diamondbacks next weekend in Phoenix, but Max won't be eligible then.
Ineligible. So until the 20. By the way, he can't play in the postseason if Arizona makes
and
it.
they might. They're pretty good. Okay, my take of the day. I know we have banged on this drum a lot, but as I watch the NBA Finals and every time I see Karl Anthony Towns on the floor wearing New York Knicks blue and orange, I'm still saying to myself, why would anyone debate who won that trade with Minnesota and New York? Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo come to Minnesota, and Cat goes to New York. Yes, the Timberwolves have had success with both the guys they got. But Randall, we don't know if he's coming back next season. DiVincenzo's going to try to come back from a serious Achilles injury. Cat's in the NBA Finals. The Knicks are knocking on the door of winning their first title since 1973. So to me, this is no debate. And what I think if you're a Minnesota fan that has to bug you is Cat did not say, get me out of here.
Right.
Cat liked it here. I think he really grew some roots in this town. And boy, if the Knicks can win this NBA title, it'll come just a few months after Sam Darnold got that Super Bowl ring for the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
No.
I put him in the Darnold, David Ortiz, Randy Moss, Kevin Garnett category.
Yeah.
Louis Varland.
Well, Varland hasn't won a championship.
No, but he was that close.
Yeah, he was very close. All right.
All right, we'll say goodbye. Thanks for tuning us in. We are 10K Takes, your sports tick.